welcome to Not Hardly Broken. I am Kenya.
I'm Terrence.
And we're glad to be here with you today. So thank you for watching. Also, thank you for liking and subscribing to our channel and sharing it with other people. We do really appreciate that. Today's topic is about arguments and conflict. How do you manage yourself within an argument without crossing lines? And how do you avoid blame shifting? The healthy thing is to share it or express it as it comes up, as opposed to accumulating stuff and just stockpiling is what we call it, just stockpiling issues. And then soon as something sets you off one good time, you just throw it all out there. And your spouse is like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Where'd that come from?
Right.
How'd that happen?
Right.
I did what?
Right. And because you didn't tell them all the times that certain things happen. And there's a way to have those conversations. They're not always comfortable.
Right.
But there's a way to have the conversations that are hard. For instance, it could be anything. If you found something that your spouse did and it really bothered you, but you thought, well, I'm not gonna say anything right now, I'm gonna just let it go. Now that can be good to do because not everything deserves a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a whole nother conversation in and of itself. But not everything deserves a conversation. What I would determine whether or not that deserves a conversation is how much it bothers you. Yeah. If it's something that shifts your mood, when you see them, you ignore them. And what that means is you just like, they saying something to you and you give them as little as possible. Stonewalling, that's another way to say that. Those are some things that you probably should say. And then, so the work is going to be trying to figure out how to say it in a way that your partner, your spouse can receive it. Mm-hmm. It's going to already be something they may not want to hear. Mm-hmm. But there's a way that you can approach it that is not like, I'm coming to draw blood. Right.
And I always say this, it's in the presentation. Mm-hmm. You can present something that's difficult for your partner, for your mate, for your spouse, but you can present it in a way where it's non-threatening. Yeah. You can present it in a way where, they may not like what you're saying because, it's something that you have an issue with them. And so that may make them a little uncomfortable, but it's worth saying. And if your partner or your mate really loves you, they're going to receive what you're saying and let you say and let you get it out. Let you get it out and put it out on the table, no matter how uncomfortable it is, so that you guys can deal with that situation. So, but it's all in how you present it. You can present it on a nice, clean plate, and present it to your mate, or you can present it on a garbage can lid with a whole lot of
other stuff
that you've been, piled up on top of it, and just present it to them, and it's just dirty and it's filthy and it's unhealthy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's a hard one. It still is difficult. I tell couples all the time that, it's a marital journey, meaning there's a destination that you're on your way to that you may not be at today. And so what that means is every day that you're with your spouse is another day to keep working at getting it right and getting it better. Mm-hmm. And so whereas 10 years ago, we might have been arguing or frustrated about certain things, hopefully by now, some of those things are not an issue. Mm-hmm. But then we still have these years worth of stuff that we still need to work through. So it's still progressive and a progressive development. So with that said, we don't want to stockpile. We don't want to accumulate information or stuff. We want to be able to share it right then. So I'm a proponent of, if I have something heavy to say. Now, this is not foolproof, and this is not every single time, because sometimes the truth is you're angry. And when you're angry and you're frustrated, sometimes it can come out like a little fire. And that's not cool. You have to take responsibility for that. You can't defend yourself and try to protect and say, well, I was just mad. That's not a good enough excuse. our work is to try to overcome that anger and present it, like Terrence said, on a nice, clean plate. That's the work. It may not happen this time, but the next time it may not have as much venom in it. The next time after that, it may have a little less venom in it. Eventually, I may be able to do exactly what we're saying to do, present it with a clean plate. There have been times that I know that I've presented things to you in a much better fashion than I have in other times. No, not true.
Yeah.
What you saying? My hat fell off. What you saying? No, not true?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I know recently I shared something with him, and I didn't think it was full of venom, but maybe it was. Maybe it was the time of day in which I shared it. It did catch him off guard. He wasn't even prepared for the conversation, and so that was not a good example. But I do know that there have been times that I have presented something to him, and I will have come to him and said, you know, babe, I just need you to know or understand this. You know, that's a softer approach than, that's why I can't stand when you blah, blah, blah. You know, that's a whole nother approach, right? Go ahead.
No, I don't have anything to say.
No,
I'm good.
No, okay. So we're not stockpiling. We're talking through situation by situation. So when we approach one another, we want to approach each other not to be offensive.
Right. Absolutely.
And keep definitely liking, sharing, and subscribing. And if you have any questions or anything you want to comment on, send us an email to nothardlybroken@gmail.com.